Had to grow the muscle.
Hey there, Tarot and Astrology for all stars. This is David coming to you with a reading for Taurus. Now, as I was shuffling, this card came out, Gotcha. Now, Gotcha is one of those cards that talks about surprises. It talks about like knowing things before they happen, that kind of thing. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look at that card, because I was saying something about it in Aries reading, and now it popped up in your reading. So let's see, Taurus, what will result from this. Maybe Mickle might come out. Who knows? Okay, let's read Gotcha while I go ahead and shuffle and see what she has to impart on us. Alright, so as card number 64, she talks about sudden shocks, unexpected events, and rude awakenings. Now, Gotcha is the out of the blue fairy. He likes to surprise us. You know, you're walking along, minding your own business or not minding any business at all, and the universe smacks you on your blind side with something that makes an awful splat. So, unexpected demands from the tax man, things like that. The bank's hole in the wall machine eats your bank card late at night while the burly and irritable taxi driver is waiting. You know what? I've had a situation like that play out in my life when I went to Georgia. I was actually in the military, and when I went from Alaska to Georgia, actually no, from Fort Sill to Georgia, what ended up happening was that right before I left for Alaska, which is where I was going to after I got out of airborne school, the ATM in Georgia just ate my card. Like, it just ate it. And then of course I had to do something in order to get money, right? So I ended up having to open a new bank account in Alaska, which then allowed me to transfer the funds from my other bank to the other bank, but I had to wait. Now, that sucked, but in that present moment when I actually got to Alaska, I had about 7,000 in the bank. I believe it was like 7,300, though I had no access to it because my card was eaten. I had to wait till I got to wherever I was going in order to get the address, in order to be able to fix all of that. Now, throughout all that time, I had help. My section leader was the one that gave me money, although I barely even used any of it. He told me to keep it, right? Which was I guess it was shocking, right? Because unexpected events and things like that, rude awakenings. But at the same time, it wasn't technically a rude awakening, because the universe was just letting me know, hey, you have the things that you need right at your disposal and actually right at your fingertips. You just have to understand that it's there. Now, there is a school of thought that says this is just karma. We deserve it for sins we have totally forgotten in other lifetimes. Not so. Karma is about lessons we need to learn, not about punishment, and meaningless events don't teach us much. So this may be karma, but it isn't that kind of karma. Ooh. So, you know, I've been talking about karma to my significant other more recently than ever before. And when it comes to the energy of karma, karma seems to be its own entity. Karma in and of itself doesn't seem to be negative or positive. It's actually neutral, and it returns to you the energy that you put out to the universe. So whether you understand that as a self-punishment or not really isn't what this is so much trying to teach you. It's trying to show you that karma is about it's about lessons that we need to learn, and what ends up happening if we don't, which is a repeat cycle. So, we were getting a lot of information on here, and I haven't even gotten any cards. Alright, so Gotcha knows we like to build sturdy, rigid structures in our minds and lives, but he also knows that these often are not good for us. Sometimes we even complain about them, muttering about life being dull and boring, and yet we cling to them tenaciously. Why? Because it works, right? It's comforting. when we can go back to the same thing and we understand that it's going to work over time. Now, given that notion, really it should be us Capricorns that are rigid to change and all of that. Though I do realize that you Taurans can be bullheaded and stubborn. But I feel like what the universe is telling you here is be more attentive to the lessons that the universe is trying to teach you. And when you become more attentive to them, you actually start to understand why those things are happening, and you can actually prevent them from happening in the future too. That's what learning a lesson is all about. So, bad fairies nip and prod us, asking for simple acknowledgement of their presence in our lives, insisting that we take notice of them. The first step to healing and change. So, the first step to healing and change at this juncture for you, Taurus, is about unconditional giving and receiving. Unconditional giving and receiving opens up the energies of creativity, but it also opens up the energy of source. As you can see, it's a 3 and a 0. So communication about giving and receiving might be on your mind for some of you Taurans. Now, it's funny how Mickle is right at the bottom of the deck right now. So let's see what we can draw from this, and we'll go ahead and find out some more information. Now, giving and receiving, the message here, regardless of the surprises, right? Understanding that whatever you're feeling, whatever fears you're feeling right now, they're unfounded. They have no solid basis in your reality, and you really need to go ahead and take a look at them and then find out why they're there. And then Penelope Dreamweaver in the reverse. All right, so some of you Taurans are going to be needing to trust whatever visions, trust whatever. The only thing I could think of is trust whatever visuals the universe is sending to you. Whether that's in spirit, whether that's in your reality, whether that's emotional, or whether that's mental, really doesn't matter. Messages come through at any rate. Penelope Dreamweaver is telling you, hey, these fears are unfounded. You don't need to be afraid of this anymore. You don't need to be afraid of that anymore. You don't need to be what if here. You don't need to be what if there. So she'll show you, actually, when you ask the universe will show you what you need to know. All right, so I just want to draw one more card. I want to see what this energy is about, and then I'll go ahead and take a look at the card at the bottom. So there's been some type of influence that has been trying to ruin things for you, Taurus. I don't think you've been letting it. I think that whatever these fears were that appeared in your life, I feel like that's what the issue was. But you weren't technically affected too much by it. It could have had something to do with friends, but I think the idea is that friends right here are your foundations. Friends right here are your strength, your rock to lean on. Woo, yeah. Oh, that's a lot of information so far, and we're only what, 5 minutes in. Okay, so with gotcha, if we're talking about rigid structures that we need to get rid of, then gotcha in the reading speaks to us of sudden, often violent breakdowns of existing structures, habits, patterns, and or attitudes. When we become too tightly confined by our own self-imposed limitations, including the desire for comfort and security, gotcha kindly breaks the structure restraining us, whether we think we want him to or not. On a soul level, we know this to be necessary, but in our everyday lives or thoughts, we usually get pretty upset about it. However, the breakdown can lead to a breakthrough. So this is liberation, and we often haven't a clue what to do with it. This is usually the beginning of a period of confusion and even disorientation, while we search for a way forward, although we may think that we are simply searching for a way back to what we had before. That's the thing, though. We shouldn't be heading back to what we had before. We should be heading towards new things, just like Aries is doing right now. Recommendation: do not try to pick up the pieces and put them back like they were. Consider instead what you would like to build in that part of your life, and this time remember to leave room for growth. So, very, very interesting reading here. So, as we start to talk about changing thoughts, changing patterns, changing various different things that are not working in our lives anymore, there's a certain sense of giving and receiving, right? You give out some good energy, you release some bad energy. It allows for more good energy to come in. I, though, have a feeling that with any good energy, there's always some type of bad energy or flip-flop opposite energy that's there that comes, because I feel like that energy comes in pairs, because there's a necessity to bring both those into some type of balance, right? Something about lightsabers is coming through. You know, there is a theory that each of the lightsabers and the colors that are shown by the lightsabers are actually significations of the level of personal self-actualization, and you know, that kind of thing. Your understanding of both the concepts of light and dark are blended together, right? You have evil, which Darth Vader, Darth Maul. I don't know if the Sith had anything like that, but I believe his was red as well. Now, blue, right? You think about blue, you think about green or whatever. The energies of blue, in specific to the Jedis, had to do with the light side, right? So you had the dark side red, light side blue. And of course, when you mix those two together, you get violet or purple. Now, Mace Windu and I'm trying to think. There was another one, I believe maybe she had 4 arms or something like that. Or maybe she just had 2. She had, they all had purple lightsabers, which is an accumulation of both the light and the dark mixed together. And those individuals were much more powerful than your average Jedi, just simply because they learned how to mix both things together. Now, very much so, I feel like this is something that's happening to you, Taurus. What you're learning to do is you're learning to take what's there and to build something new, but you're also paying attention to both aspects of life, not just one. All right, so giving and receiving is the energy of the Laume. The Laume is blessed by the love of the universe, and it's also blessed by you yourself. If you're feeling stuck or blocked in a situation, then the Laume turns up in the reading, and you probably need to focus on, or you need to stop focusing on what you are trying to accomplish and simply give to others freely and generously and unconditionally. So this point in time is a time for you to be able to give freely and unconditionally. The random acts of kindness up to a co-worker just because they need it. Don't worry about emptying your wallet or purse of your cash for a beggar on the street. It will fill up again much faster than you might expect. And that is the energy of the universe. When you start to give, it starts to come back to you. Okay, so except that we need to learn disappointing when it doesn't come from the source. I said something like that to Aries just recently. So that's 61. The Gihobya, right? Alright, Gihobya is about imaginary fears, realized hazards, and realistic caution, because usually when we are affected by something, we have a fear towards it, but sometimes those fears can be learned. Associates, the more we know about him, the less power he has, and the harder it is to do his job. This tells you a lot about him. His power is our imaginations and fears, not in the real world, in any other real world. This is the wicked thing in the closet who keeps frightening children awake at night with eerie snuffling, waffling sounds. But when you turn on the light and open the door, he is there. So Brian wrote, he exists only through a collection of our fears. Jehovah thrives on fears, getting stronger and stronger until we face him. He is a sham, a tiny fear blown out of proportion, and the smallest positive thought will banish him. All of fairyland knows this, and none is afraid of him. So neither should you be afraid of the energy that is not really there in reality, right? Because it's not there. You won't see it. It's something that's only here, and you won't see it there. It is a difficult job, and Gihiab, the Pook Gotcha, and the Feline, and a few other hardworking fairies get together twice a week for otherworld nectar, hazelnuts, cheese, and sauce, and to grumble about humans and to support each other. The work they do, hard as it is merely an apprenticeship for the much harder work for which they get to wear a starry crown, like Epona's Wild Daughter, card number 54, and Leaves of the Shadow, card 44. It takes a lot of practice and skill in dealing with human flaws to get promoted to that level. So I feel like if we really take this into a reality type of sense, whatever it is that you've experienced in your life is actually helping you to understand what your fears are, but also to get rid of them. And at the same time, you start to do the same thing in life. You start to see, you start to with yourself, start to basically self-nurture yourself. What ends up happening is you start to come up with a story of your own, and people start to see inspiration from your words, because remember, Taurus is a very inspirational man, and people trust the information that comes from a Tauran is so stuck in their experience, right? They're so enmeshed to that experience, and their values actually come from that personal experience, that when they speak, people listen. So as we look at this card in reverse or in the upside down, what we should do is see them for what they are, and have the ability to open us up to our hearts and to the singer of courage, and to gain in strength to face the reality, to face the really difficult challenges in our lives. Each false fear confronted and resolved makes us that much stronger. And I think by this time you already know this, Taurus. So when this card is in the reverse, perhaps there is a wicked thing in the closet waiting for the lights to be turned on. Check things out carefully. Sometimes our fears are justified. It is important for us to learn and to distinguish between the imaginary and the real. So that's why it's necessary to take a look at everything that makes you fearful and find out whether it actually is a fear or not. Alright, so moving on to Penelope Dreamweaver. In painting, hold on. She's about inspiration, magical dreams, and visions. I said earlier, look at your dreams, look at your visions. Make sure to trust the visions or the visuals that come to you. Because weaver of dreams, bringer of visions, muse of artistic inspiration, Penelope weaves tapestries in the mind with threads of light, color, and sound. All vibrations. When she comes to us in dream, we awaken under her enchantment and rush for our paints or clay or other forms of expression. Rightfully so, you should. In this painting, Brian has shown us Penelope in his own inspiration, fairy, but we each have one who is more than willing to help us. Mine says to call her Grace because she says she isn't exactly someone I deserve, just someone I'm lucky enough to have in my life. So Penelope and her sisters, the fairies of expression, work together as teams, helping us in our creative endeavors. There might be some of you Taurans out there that have some creative type expression, whether it's music, whether it's poems, whether it's dancing, whether it's skits, various different things like that. I feel like a lot of you have that type of skill, and basically what she's trying to lead you to do is trying to understand what that skill is. So as she comes in the reverse, you may feel that your creative expression is blocked or even dead. You may have been trying too hard or working too hard. It's time to back off and do the things that renew and inspire you, and not the things that drain you. Cut loose from the mundane world and give yourself the time to enjoy your own fantasies and dreams. And then choose what you want to bring into manifestation and begin to create it, even if you think you can't. Creation is one of the primary factors in the maintenance of sanity. Humor is another. So, if you produce laughable results, you get 2 benefits for the effort of 1. And alternatively, you may have been ignoring your inspiration fairy's prompting, turning away from your own creativity. When we deny expression to our creative impulses, or creative energy tends to sour within us, causing problems with health, relationship, and other aspects of life. We tend to think of that as like, oh, well, maybe we're not in the right spot, or we're being punished for something, when no, really we're just letting that energy sour. We're letting the energy sit, and it's not really providing us with anything of substance. So I want to go ahead and go real quick to friends, because that's what this reading is sitting upon. And I feel that friendly cooperation with other people is going to be one of those things that you're going to be doing, Taurus. And because right now, I believe that Pluto is in Capricorn in your 9th house. That's technically describing a situation where you're it's basically describing a situation in which the more friendly you are, the more you give and receive from everything around you, the more inspirational you become, the more intelligent you come, the more discernment you have over your life. And at the same time, it lets you know that this energy cannot be confined. It has to be expressed. It has to be let go. It has to shine its light and its rays through everything. Now, as it comes to friends, we have to understand that that when it comes to friends, there's a lot of support and aid in them, but that hands outstretched reach across the rushing water. You steady me, I steady you on the slippery rocks of time. Hands reaching, giving and giving in return. I am so grateful to you for being there. I could never have managed alone. So, friendly cooperation with others is necessary to reach those mutual goals, and willingness to give and receive assistance and support is also required. Ask friends for help and suggestions, listen with respect, and accept the gifts willingly offered. Unconditional receiving is even more difficult than unconditional giving. 4 feet are more stable than 2 feet. Alternatively, fair enough, and Lochan may be saying that you will benefit at this time from offering support and aid to a friend. Look around you. Someone you love may be needing your help and be too bound up by fear or of rejection or pride to ask. Volunteer your help to your friends and give unconditionally from a generous, loving heart. It will do you good, increasing your store of credit for help in time of need, and it might even help them. Well, I mean, when it comes to this reading, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, I love it when readings do this, from the first card to the last card of that same deck. It really brings out like the core factor, right? I think that 14 might be something that is important to you guys. 14 comes out to 5. 5s are changes, but they're changes through forward movement from a stable standpoint, and I think that's what's going on for you. So, all right, so let's go ahead and draw some Rider Waite. Let's go ahead and clarify this energy, see what we're dealing with. All right, so there might be a message coming in for some of you Taurans. This message might be a message of from somebody trying to ask you something, trying to ask for help, maybe. Trying to ask for emotional help. I feel like 2 brains are better than 1. So if you help each other, Taurus, whoever it is that needs your help, if it's emotional, if it's something along those lines. I feel that you can gain from it, Taurus. So if somebody does approach you with a need to speak to you about something, go ahead, sit down, listen, give your time, and they will give you something in return that allows you to help yourself in the process. Telling you, unconditional giving and receiving will fill your cup to the brim. And not only fill your cup to the brim, it's also going to fill your cup up so much. This is talking about that. It's talking about that universal credit. And I shouldn't say I shouldn't say like if you understand that, because most Taurans, you know, are money or business oriented. They understand what credit is. So when you think about universal credit, well, this is just the refilling of your universal credit by your actions that are done now in this period of time from all right. So there needs to be a new journey undertaken, a journey that's based on faith, a journey that's based on divine guidance, and understanding your visions, your aspirations, and your dreams. Now, okay, so these two cards fell out. I'm not gonna go ahead and put them in there, because whatever this new journey is about paying attention to the things that the universe is showing you, right? The visions, your dreams, your daydreams, I don't know what you want to call them. There's various different ways in which the universe can send messages to you, but pay attention to the most important ones, the ones that you know you need to work on, right? The ones that you need to work on. This is something that you've been working on for a while. Maybe it's caused some type of apathy in your life, but this 4 and 8, you divide. If you take a look at something you've been doing for a while, when you think about 8, you know, you've had major progress on that. Now, 4 is half of 8, so sometime along the way, you may have felt like this towards whatever this thing is. You felt apathetic, you didn't care about it. Source was trying to give you a message back then too, but you didn't see it, or maybe you did. Who knows? I feel like you didn't. So this is where ignorance may come into play. Pay attention to your dreams and your visions. Pay attention to your dreams and your visions. Pay attention to any messages that Source might send you, either through through numbers, angel numbers, through astrology, through numerology, any other divination method, signs on the wall, signs on a house, numbers on a house, words on a truck, you know, all of that. Be paying attention, be paying close attention to all of that. But closely pay attention to the thoughts that you have right before you see that, or the thoughts that you have right around that time frame when all of that makes itself known to you. Perfect example is like, okay, Source, if you want me to start a new business, then you go ahead and let me know a sign. Go ahead and let me know a sign of 111. Go ahead or an 11, right, to follow my intuition. A 1, 2, 3, so that I can understand that there's steps that need to be taken, and so I can understand what those steps are and how I can follow them. And or, you know, for instance, if you're thinking about like, oh, maybe I should go over here and visit some family. They might that I haven't seen them in a while, and you see a sign that says yes, you should, or like yes, go, right? Or it just says one word, go, with exclamations. That is your sign to go in that direction, right? That's exactly what the universe is trying to teach you. Sometimes we might be ignorant enough to not see it through numbers or any other thing, or through people that are telling us. So you literally have to see it right in front of your eyes, right? Now the universe, oh yeah, all right. So, this for some of you guys has resulted out of heartbreak, heartbreak that you've gotten over, heartbreak that you've made a decision on to not really blind yourself to it, but ignore it And at the same time, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to head towards this, but if you keep on that energy, source is telling you that you're not going to be able to create anything. So let's go ahead and see what your actions are, Taurus, and then we'll move on to the animal spirit cards and everything else from there. And while I switch over to the dice, I will go ahead and take a look at your astrology to see more or less what's going to be happening throughout this month. All right, so something hasn't been balanced, and who knows, maybe you haven't been giving enough, maybe you have been giving enough and haven't been realized what you've been giving to. Maybe you haven't been giving unconditionally, because I feel like that's really what that part is telling us, is that somebody hasn't been giving unconditionally, but they are in need of a new change and to refill their cup. Refill your cup, right? There might be somebody specifically near you that has the ability to activate your courage, right? To face your fears, so that you have the ability to make your judgment. Whatever judgment is needed in order to begin that new journey is going to be necessary. And at the same time, there needs to be a strategy that you create. There needs to be some type of strategic plan. There has to be some type of plan that's going to benefit you, but that's also going to benefit a lot of different people, and it's going to disadvantage your enemies. So, but I feel like some of you are going to be stuck in this energy for a little bit. You guys are going to hold on to it, as is normal with a lot of Taurans. They tend to hold grudges and things like that. Now, I don't think that a lot of you Taurans are going to be holding on to these grudges. I think that a lot of you have been through a lot. Some of you have been through enough. And I very much feel that in terms of this energy, that like there's just a certain something that you can learn from it. Giving and receiving. Giving and receiving. All right, let's go ahead and woo. All right, so the horse sits at the bottom of it, wanting to be stable, wanting to be strong, right? All right, so since we're talking about fears, Taurus, there should be some fears in your life, specifically around whatever this opportunity is or was that's reappearing. Obviously, it's part of a much larger cycle, that you needed to trust your intuition on. And I feel like this time around you are. Maybe last time you didn't. Maybe last time you had trouble with it. And maybe last time when you were confronted with this fear, you were gone, right? You avoided it. So I want to see, okay, so there is something that you're trying to call out to the universe with. You're trying to be heard by the universe. The universe has obviously answered your call. It's just you have to be willing to receive whatever this gift is from the universe. This could be more happiness in your life. This could be something having to do with building more strength, building a stronger barrier, or maybe even building a stronger Kundalini energy against energies that bring fear into your life. Maybe even building up some type of a shield towards people that take advantage of your kindness, right? A lot of these things I feel are big things that are happening in your life, and because you asked the universe for more strength, you asked the universe to give you the ability to create more in your life. The universe has answered your call, and it's given you a lot of fire and a lot of passion. Well, I mean, maybe not a lot of fire, but it has lit something within your soul that has you moving, that has you walking in the right direction, trotting in the right direction, I should say, because, you know, that's just what horses do. But regardless of whatever this energy is, it's trying to show you something bigger about your emotions, but it's trying to show you something bigger about your intuition and your hunches. Okay, so let's start off with sign energy, right? And of course, as I do this, I'm gonna go ahead and look at your astrology and find out what's going on. All right, and let's see if the astrology chart for Taurus shows us anything special. All right, so Capricorn. See, something about Capricorn, right? Your 9th house. All right, so in your first house, you have the North Node and you have Uranus, both of them in reverse. Well, actually, the North Node never goes in reverse. It actually goes opposite of everything else. Now, Uranus in reverse, you're really trying to find what your own unique individuality is. And as you start to do this, there's a certain sense of passion. There's a certain sense of willingness to move forward on various different decisions. That is a very, very important aspect. You may be talking about these decisions right now as well. So in your 7th house, you have the moon. Pay attention to your relationships. Always look for the truth in your relationships, right? Because this is about Scorpio and Scorpio type energy and being the scientist. You have the sun that's going to be coming out of the that's going to be coming out of your 7th house, and it's going to be going on into your 8th house. Expression of how you feel abundant, maybe expressions of how you bring abundance to others. That could help you. But I think more so trying to find the beauty in life and then, communicating on that might be a better way of trying to show other people what your values are. Okay. In your 9th house, you have Pluto, so removing things that are no longer necessary for you, right? And at the same time, understanding what it is that you need to build. Have the right materials, right? In your 10th house in Aquarius, your house of career connections and things like that, there's a necessity for you to organize that, because I feel like, as it said with friends, that friends are going to be necessary, that friends are going to offer you aid and support. That is what's necessary right now. When you think about the Saturnian energy, the parental energy, there might be a parent, or you might be the parent that is going to be helped or needs to help. Your daughter, your granddaughter, your grandson, your son, etc., right? That's what Source is asking you, because in your 11th house, you have a lot of Jupiterian energy. It's the energy of your 11th. Well, Jupiter is about expansion, right? So it rules the 9th house, which technically your 9th house is Capricorn and building things. Wait, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. So in your 11th house of Pisces, there's a certain sense of spirituality that you could follow, and to some it might seem woo-woo. So to some it might seem like fairylandish, not really real, but there are some certain real aspects that people can actually hook onto through your advice. Now, some of you might have some type of trouble of some sort with trying to do this on a big scale. Start off small, little by little, and that'll help you. Now, Capricorn, the energy of Capricorn is important, because as that sits in your 9th house, it really, really speaks about your dreams and your values, your aspirations, what really makes you, you. And the important thing is that as you follow that intuitive spiritual notion of understanding how you give and receive, sending your messages out to the universe and then receiving whatever it is that you ask for, you tend to gain a certain sense of bravery, a certain sense of charisma, right? Because that's what the Leo type energy is about. And you really get to know what it is that you could move forward on, Taurus. You really get to understand like that energy that makes you you, that makes you strong, that makes you the type of person that a lot of people can depend on. Now, let's go ahead and choose a planet, and we'll see how this planet ties in. Okay, so between thoughts and action, the Mars energy, the passion, the assertiveness is going to have to be taken. Now, as I've been saying this whole reading, follow your intuition, follow your visions, follow your inner knowing, because that is going to lead you in a lot of different ways to where you need to go or where you need to be. Saturnian energy, as you start to do that and you start to trust your intuition, that 11th house energy of Saturn in Aquarius is going to start to activate. What ends up happening is, let's see what we have for the energy. There's a lot of communication and there's a lot of forward movement in that. 4, stability. Not only stability, a lot of creativity comes in, which leads the door to abundance and to a lot of the to expansion of that abundance. And then, of course, well, as you see, forward movement beyond that. So this seems to be a lot of energy that's built up for you, Taurus, and you're going to have a lot of energy happening to you that is going to be creating these new beginnings for you, allowing you to move forward, allowing you to give more, to receive more, to give more, to receive more, to give more, to receive more, right? It's going to be an even balance. It's not going to be a balance that's offset by something. So that's all I have for you. Oh, hold on. Real quick, I'll go ahead and, actually, no. I feel like that's where you need to be. Injecting any more, I'll go ahead and put it into the description. With that, if you like this video, Taurus, go ahead and hit that like button. Hit the share button if you feel like somebody else can gain positively from this, or can look into their negative aspects and, you know, fix that. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you can be notified of these videos as they come out. All of the rest of the videos that are going to be coming out are going to be for the rest of the month of November and then for December, so obviously the rest of the year. You guys are awesome. Stay safe, stay free, and I will see you on the next video. All right, so you guys take care.